now.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger and I'm here to kick some ass, but I'm going to turn it all over to Salty because it is the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. Salty, take it away, man. Get to the chopper. Let's go do it. Let's have a great show.
Thank you, Arnold. It's great to be back on a Thursday evening. Salty Thursday's back. It's good to be back. Let's get to our intros. Let's start off with G-Man. How's it going, my dude?
G-Man 1172 here, folks. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's going good.
Good.
I'm actually having a nice, relaxed day, taking a little break from Sekiro, as I have to do, rather than destroy things in my apartment. Playing a little Halo Wars 2. Haven't been on this in a while, and I'm having a good time with it.
Yes, sir, man. I'm on that Sekiro life still.
Guys.
Sekiro.
Sekiro.
Yeah, it's technically
Say it right.
like that. Sekiro.
Sekiro.
Yeah,
I mean, just for that, I'm going to keep calling it Sekiro,
seriously.
you know.
Oh, I'm gonna punch you right. I'm gonna punch you right in a spot that I can't say within the first 30 minutes.
Good, man. Awesome to have you here again, man. Unfortunately, Titan Drago will not be here, but we might do a Titan Drago impression, so stay tuned for that. Next up, we have Hyena Den. How's it going, my dude?
I'm doing okay, actually. I'm really excited to get into these topics. There's a lot of good stuff coming out within the gaming news, so let's get into it.
Bloody Knuckles is next. What's going on, my dude?
Not much, man. I've been all over the place. All right, I've been doing so many different things, trying to. My computer, my PC, my new rig that I just bought died on me, right? So I've been testing like 4 different laptops in my house to run all my equipment for a bunch of things. I'm working on helping someone set up their own equipment, as well as helping record interviews and stuff for a local rap group here in my city. Like, I've been doing so many projects. I've been hella crazy. But it's always good to just take a minute to sit down and talk with you crazy dudes. And the topics that have come out this week are definitely gonna be worth.
Yeah, but I
about.
thought PCs never break down, according to the PC messer.
Oh, PC! You know, PCs are supposed to be the godsends, right? You just shove everything in a box and it works,
happens,
right?
You don't need to tweak any settings. You're just good to go, right? But yeah.
What are you guys doing? I was going to switch to PC tomorrow.
The only thing that you can switch is.
Never mind. Noof, what's going on, my dude?
I'm going to keep it clean, as in Mr. Clean. That's right. No, we're going to have a good show, man. We got a great panel. We got a great topics. A lot of stuff been going on the last few days. I'm super stoked to be here. I was telling Salty before the podcast. This time it felt like it's been an eternity since we last did a podcast. I don't know, it just feels weird. But we're ready to roll. I'm ready to go. I'm having a good time. Can you feel it, sucker?
So let's start off with an interesting topic. Did you guys hear about this millionaire that's trying to do a battle royale? You know, get people on an island, pay people potentially $100,000 to do this. I know I talked about this with Boom, but I want to hear the TSGP brothers talk about it. If you would participate, it's an airsoft tournament basically on a huge island. This dude's paying people like 50,000 euros to set up the experiment on the island. It just sounds like he's going all out. What do you guys think of this this whole thing? Is it something you'd watch on TV potentially?
Here's a real question. Is it all specifically airsoft guns? So like pretty much like recreate. Okay, because that cool and all, but now we're starting to see like this whole genre, this whole phenomenon go way too far, because people fail to realize is that this all started with a book that had socio-political tendencies and topics that came from a Japanese author back in the 90s, which the original, Battle Royale was the name of a book that had socio-political commentary from a Japanese author back in the 90s that was made into a film shortly afterwards, which is where the idea came from. That's where the whole battle royale came from, because it talked about students, or Japan passed a bill for students that acted out and wouldn't listen. They would be selected for what was called the Battle Royale Initiative. The class that was selected would get sent to an island, and they would have to fight on the island. Only one student would be able to survive out of the whole class. and it follows one specific class as the students are trying to survive, as well as it's kind of showing how messed up a lot of the kids are, and it shows the relationships between all of them. But it's specifically using the government as a way to punish students who don't listen to teachers and stuff like that. And it kind of goes into the whole rebellion aspect.
How do you know all this? This came back
out in the 90s. I know that because of the fact that I read the book and I actually watched the movie. It was on Netflix for a long time, and I really loved that movie. I've watched it like 52 times.
You're the human Wikipedia, I swear. You know, but that's pretty awesome, actually. But yeah, it's crazy this battle royale phase. It's going into all kinds of new heights. It's just interesting. Would you think about participating in this tournament?
Hell no.
Absolutely.
Would, right?
I was like, airsoft guns, I can do. I've done plenty of airsoft tournaments on an island. I've done that before. Let's do it. I've been out in the wilderness. I've done cross country and survival stuff. I was a ROTC kid. I was like, I was gonna go military.
I had my dream shattered when I heard that Man vs. Wild was fake. Okay, I just heard that recently. They staged a lot of that, so like this wilderness thing kind of spurred my memory there. Yeah, rip to that show. But yeah, who else would? G-Man, would you be on this battle royale stuff? Yeah,
sure. I have absolutely no doubt. I didn't almost go military. I did go military. I have no doubt I would absolutely destroy, own from at least 300 to 500 meters. Give me a clear line of sight. You're done. I could live off just about anything. I've eaten scorpions. I've eaten let's see, cockroaches here in New York. I was trying to think of the Scarface line. I was trying to think of the Scarface line. Yeah, I was trying to think of that Scarface line. Remember, he's just like, "What? Fuck the Diaz and fuck the fucking Gomez brothers. I'm betting on those cockroaches." That's it, bro.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Noof.
I wasn't the first one to go off.
Dude, if you want this show for me to be a success, here's how I do it. As I'd start everybody off, 100 people, most of them be hot chicks, have everybody pretty much wearing like a crap load of clothes, and the further you go along, the more clothes you lose, till eventually the last people standing, they buck naked, and they throw on rubberized funky fun toys and condom slingshots at each other. That would make a show.
I think that would get some mad ratings. I think you're onto something,
You lose clothes, you don't gain stuff. You start losing it as you go along, and you're down to the bare essentials when you end off. So I think that would be funny.
Says Cybernox. Awesome. Yeah, that's a great idea. Hyena, you said you wouldn't be involved in this, huh? You said heck no.
Nope. Yeah. No, I don't like being around people in real life.
I'm right there with you, dude.
So when I first heard this news, I was under the assumption, I didn't know that it was airsoft. I thought it was actual gun.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
So when I heard the news, I'm like, well, this is the fucking Darwinism award going on. Like,
even better. I was like, then we could really start switching up, right? There's nothing but all sorts of like hand weapons, like axes and all sorts of stuff hitting around, and only very, very few people will be able to find guns. Right? We're gonna do this the right way.
A tire iron, a crowbar.
Hey, that's exactly what they used in the film. There was people who had frying pans and all sorts of stuff. There was a few people who had submachine guns. There was people who had like a sword. There was one who had a karama. Like there was all different types of weapons. You use whatever you could. One person got killed with a pair of scissors.
I wish I was Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, but that's not happening, right? So yeah, this battle royale situation, it's kind of getting out of hand. I would say when they're actually doing this situation, it kind of sparked my interest because it was within the gaming news. So I figured we'd talk about it. It's kind of a light topic to get it started here. But let's move on to the next rumor. The next Assassin's Creed is rumored to take place in a Viking period. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this, and what would your perfect Assassin's Creed location be? I want to hear your guys' takes on that. Let's start off with Noof. What do you think about these Viking period rumors for the next Assassin's Creed?
I mean, come on, Vikings, really? Like, what is this? Everybody gonna copy God of War now? I mean, because what was it? God of War came out. They went to like the Norse, and then we had Hellblade, which was set around the Norse mythology. It's like, what are these guys getting? Like tidbits and development? Like somebody sneaking over the development notes, like, hey, these guys are doing this game. Let's go and do the same style of game or in the same setting. Like, come on, Vikings, really? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it has potential. Look, if you want to make the perfect Assassin's Creed for Noof Nukem, it is simply this. You make it ninjas, but I'm not talking about samurai era ninjas. I'm talking about 1980s kick-ass ninjas. That's what I want to see. I want to see ninjas jumping on car roofs and climbing up buildings and going through the
I see you're talking about the Three Ninjas era of movies.
Yeah, not those movies, man.
Hey, don't you dare diss the Three Ninjas. Don't you do it.
No,
what do you want, Hulk Hogan to come out in here? Like, what, you know?
Oh, yeah, brother.
You know, Noof, I'm right there with you. We're talking about Enter the Ninja,
Revenge
of the Ninja, Ninja 3, The Domination.
Yes,
those three ninja movies from the early 80s. That's what we're talking about.
An old school ninja gets ported back in time through the whatever they have to call it. And that movie was amazing. Ninja Assassin.
The return of Shokazuki.
Yes, make a game like that. Make a modern day shinobi game. You know, like Sega used to make and have it, but a real good assassin, man. You know what I mean? That to me, when I think of assassins, that's what I think. 80s ninjas, when the guy is like sneaking up and he's got blowguns and ninja stars and shurikens and he's got, you know, the katana. That's what I want, man. You could basically make it just like, you know, like the Spider-Man game. You know, you climb on the roof of a car and oh man, like the potential is there. Bring it on. That's what I want to see. I'd pay $200 for that game there, Ubisoft. Yeah. So bring it.
No, I piggyback right away. There. You know, I just got to agree 100%. 100. Chinatown behind you, 100%, Captain. As the guy said in the great movie Year of the Dragon. What do you call it? What I'm saying, I am 100% with. It's almost like Ubisoft is just willfully ignorant that many people are asking for the next Assassin's Creed to be Japanese ninja based. Like everyone seems to be. Vikings? When the fuck have you ever heard of a stealthy Viking?
Fight. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Come on.
Okay.
Really?
Hey, this is actually
Bonk's Adventure.
This is actually where I kind of want to. I'm gonna kind of agree with you and also disagree with you, right? So, the reason I agree with you is that yes, I've been saying, if anyone has heard me on any past when there's been rumors about what to do for the next Assassin's Creed game, I have been saying repeatedly on any show I've been on is that they need to do a traditional Assassin's Creed game in Japan, because the fact that use the story of the assassins, right? We know what the assassins do. We know the legend and we've seen it across time. Let the assassins create the legend of the ninja in Japan, you know, especially during the time especially in Japan. There's so many eras that they could use between feudal Japan and any of the shogunates, because the shoguns, who are the leaders of feudal Japan, had been assassinated several times. Hell, you could talk about the fallen Nobunaga, one of the most prominent, right? And you could talk about the assassins were trying to take him out because he was a figurehead for the Templars, right? Let the assassins create the legend of the ninja, you know, those who just show up and disappear before anyone could see them, right? All clad in black, the traditional story. However, the reason that it makes sense that they're doing the Vikings, right, is if you look at the last few games that they have, we had with Origins and Odyssey, you're using traditional fighters that were never known to be stealthy. The Magi and everything that came out in Egypt, yes, we could be stealthy with them, but they were very frontal warriors. They were police officers. They were peacekeepers. That's what they did. They didn't hide amongst anyone. They only took on that aspect if you followed the legend as they set up the hidden ones that later became the Assassin Order. Then again, you also had Origins, right? With the way that, or with Odyssey, you had Roman or Spartan soldiers, right? You had Roman soldiers. They were never known to be stealthy. Those guys are the kinds of guys who will stand on an open battlefield ready to go against you and charge directly at you. Them bloody with the way that the game.
I love the fact that you're nerdy and you know your stuff, but you know what? I'm going on 50. I've studied a lot of history in my life. All right.
Here's the thing.
I've studied a lot of history. Let me explain something to you. Stealth has been a part of killing since Cain killed his brother Abel from behind with a fucking rock. Okay.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I'm saying if you look at the way that the gameplay has shown right now, they have it meant to where it could be more open fluid combat, and they've used two historical periods where the combat isn't necessarily needed to be stealthy.
Good. And then the games were good. So what I'm saying is
using Vikings like that, it makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because Hellblade already swept the BAFTAs 2 years ago, and God of War swept the BAFTAs this year. And both of them are set in Norse, Nordic mythology, Viking type shit. There's no reason to go back there again. Let's move on.
Yeah, I just think it's pathetic that in a modern day era, the only ninja games that we basically get that are set in modern day happen to be with turtles. Come on.
Yeah. Well said.
I'm mean, can we get another Ninja Blade? Like, is that too much to ask for? I really like Ninja Blade.
Great call. Ninja Blade was such an underrated game.
My take on this whole thing, I think it would be cool, honestly, but it doesn't make sense that Vikings are. Well, I think in some senses they would be stealthy because, like, if they go hunting.
Has anyone watched the show Vikings?
So I think in certain aspects they can do stealth, like when they need to, like especially when they're hunting animals, you got to be quiet and stuff. So I think that in that realm it'd be cool, but like at a certain extent, you're just going so far away from what Assassin's Creed is. It's not even Assassin's Creed anymore, in my opinion. You know, because if you go to this Vikings route, like what kind of tall buildings exist in that realm? You know, like when you're in a Vikings realm, like
it depends on what they're doing.
You know, because you're climbing up tall buildings. Back in the day on Assassin's Creed, you do.
Well, I mean, Odyssey pulled it off. Yeah, there's the cities, but I mean, you're climbing a lot more mountains and fortresses. So why not with the Vikings? Hell, the Vikings raped and pillaged villages. So why not show them going and sacking?
The war aspect of it, like if you look at the way Odyssey is structured, is good.
Look, they're trying to find things that they can use for naval combat. They're trying.
So first of all, I have an issue with the naval combat stuff. I'm not a big fan of that in the Assassin's Creed games, and I know it's not a popular thing, but I just feel like they did that with Black Flag, and they had ships in there, and they just took it to extremes. They're like, we need to put ships in every Assassin's Creed game going forward, and it's just kind of like a filler thing for me. I don't see what the need is for ships in an Assassin's Creed game, but that's just me, right? Is it fun sometimes? Yeah, but like when you're forced to use the ship to go to point A to point B and fight shit, it's just at a certain point I feel like I'm taken out of the experience. Like not every Assassin's Creed game needs a boat in it. That's my take on it, you know. Chat, how do you guys feel about this situation? I think obviously Japan would be an amazing place for the next Assassin's Creed. I think even a modern day Assassin's Creed would be dope, but I don't know if they'll ever do that, you know. So
agreed. How about Hyena then? Hyena.
About
just
Japan
like
location?
the Viking situation for Assassin's Creed. Like, do you think it'd work? Not work? What would you like to see for the game?
And I don't know, because I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since whatever the first one launched on the Xbox 360. That was the only one I played, and it was for like 20 minutes, and that was it. So
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if there's anything they could do specifically that would rope me in. I just don't play the franchise.
They had cars that assassinated people because you like cars. And you're like, nah, I'll pass on that one.
What if?
Hang
on, guys! I had an idea, right? So we're talking about cars that could assassinate people, right? What if we're driving the cars, right? Oh no! So what if we're driving the cars? They're coming down the street, and we see the person that we're about to do. We hit a ramp. The cars transform, assassinate the person, turn back into a car, and we drive away. This could work, guys. This could work. What will we call it though? Transform Creed.
See, that was a joke, and then you took it way too far. You know what I'm saying? Then the joke.
No, I think we need a little Assassin's game sitting back around in the Scottish era, you know, when we had to defend ourselves versus the English tyranny. That's what we need, an Assassin's game where the guy wears a kilt, and if he gets a little bit under, you get to see the bangles.
Seriously, like I have ancestors from that realm and area. Like, what's with the kilt situation, man? Like, I know we're getting off topic here, but damn, these dudes rolling around in kilts with no undies under. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on to the next topic, right?
Yeah. Move on.
Old school.
Let's talk about the rumor. Okay, so the next Dragon Age is rumored to be like Anthem, but with dragons. What is up with this news, people? Because first of all, there's rumors out there that BioWare was having internal struggles. There was a report put out there, and then they denied the report. But then after that, they kind of confirmed the report, and they said, yeah, we're having kind of internal issues with our development team and making decisions. And it's like, well, surprise, surprise, look at the shit that you're putting out, right? So we're hearing that BioWare's having problems, right? Making these games, and then EA's pushing stuff, and then now with the rumors of the next Dragon Age, but with, you know, like an Anthem build, but with dragons, it's kind of worrisome for me, to be honest. I just want to ask you guys, is BioWare a shell of its former self. I mean, at this point, is it safe to say that they're kind of not what they used to be, and we can't expect the quality that we got back in the day? Because let's be honest, with these development teams, they're not just like a one-person team, right? It's not an entity that stays the same. It's these huge development teams. People come and go in the industry. You call these people BioWare, but in reality, it's so fluid. They're just BioWare by name. Do you think they've kind of lost their shine at this point? And what do you think of the rumor about Dragon Age kind of being this Anthem, but with dragons, lots of microtransactions, games as a service, et cetera, et cetera? Whoever wants to jump in first, do it.
I am on this. Okay, this is the way I see it right off the bat. A lot of people don't realize the New England Patriots, the first time they ever went to the Super Bowl was 1985. They got destroyed by the Chicago Bears 52-10. They're the Patriots. They're still the Patriots. But they're the Patriots in name only compared to this Patriot team that has dominated football for the last couple of decades. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. You have a name. You have a name in BioWare. You don't have what was the guy's name? Ruzicka and Zek Chuck or whatever these guys did. The two guys who founded them. Since they left and sold the company to EA, left as billionaires. What have they put out? They got Mass Effect 3 out, which is still a very good game. But in all honesty, I think it's the least. It's not out of the trilogy. It's the least. You know what I mean? It just dialogue options. It really seemed more like an action game. Let's see, what have they put out after that? They got Dragon Age Inquisition, which was pretty good.
Okay,
it's honest, right? It's like I said, I say it's good to okay to good. You know what I mean? I won't call it a bad game. It's not. Rise, Son of Rome, in my opinion. That's not a bad game, but I think that game is bare bones mediocre. You know what I mean? Put out, dude, they don't have the people. These people have left and they've gone to other studios. This is my bet. I don't have any actual proof, but I just don't buy it's the same BioWare. Yeah. And it's probably not the same BioWare because these people, many of them were like, fuck that. I never wanted to be owned by EA. I'm out of here. I'm going to work somewhere else. I know what's going to happen to this studio under them. And the idea of, are you kidding me? Dragon Age as a looter shooter? Get out of here. Come on. That's my take.
Well, I mean, it's an RPG, so it's got to be loot driven, so it makes sense. But the fact that it's talked about being Anthem with dragons, like that sounds like what they tried to do with Scalebound, but it didn't really work and stuff like that.
Why don't they?
Like how is
how about you make Anthem with good?
Like here's the thing. You know how
can we do that? Can we make Anthem with good?
No. Hang on. How are they gonna do the upgrades to the dragon? Right? Are we gonna add like armor pieces to the dragon? Are we gonna give it like different like elements? Is it gonna be able to breathe fire? Is it gonna breathe electricity? Is it gonna be able to shoot ice out of its mouth? Like what the hell? Like how is this all gonna work? It makes no sense.
The way
it's an RPG.
EA just wants to monetize everything. Okay, they want to make everything is monetizable. That's not a word, but I don't care, as possible. So you can imagine having armor sets for your dude, or being in a shared world with other people. That's the kind of shit that I would imagine. Maybe you could deck out your dragons as well. Anything that you can imagine being monetized and adding microtransactions to, that's what EA wants, because that's what drives the money, so it's changing these beloved titles like Dragon Age. If you do that, it's not Dragon Age anymore, in my opinion. Noof, what were you gonna say?
Well, just remember, guys, it wasn't too long ago that Capcom had fallen mightily from their pillar, and they bounced back. They had a slew of subpar releases, and then all of a sudden they started turning the ship around. They started putting a lot of effort into their games. Right now they've had a couple of big hits with like Monster Hunter World, sort of rejuvenized things a little bit, and then the Resident Evil 2 remake and a variety of other games. I think there's plenty of talent left in BioWare. I think the big problem is if you read into the story and you paid attention to the article, it sounds like there was a lot of turmoil within the studio during a very tumultuous time. Not only was it to transition to new consoles, because remember the other Mass Effects were developed on the Unreal Engine and they came out during the last gen. So they had a lot of big games, a lot of projects on the go. They lost a lot of their leads, including the guys who started the company, Greg Ruzicka or whatever their names were. Those guys kind of left. Casey Hudson, who was, he's back now, but he left to go with Microsoft for a while during that turnover to Mass Effect Andromeda. And we all know, you're only sometimes as good as the captain of a ship. And if your direction is not set and the course is not laid out, when you got that many people in a studio, when you got 200 or 300 people and everybody's in charge of a small segment of making one big project, it's got to be a massive undertaking to keep a studio like that and keep these guys on track, which is, again, a shout out to the coalition. Those guys are just amazing. But I think they had a lot of trouble. It sounded like they had absolute hell going to the DICE engine, which is still not a great engine by any means. It's worked out, I guess, okay mostly for the guys who came up with it, and that would be DICE. The Frostbite engine, but outside of them, other people seem to be struggling. I don't understand why they needed to change over. Obviously, this sounded more like an EA mandated thing that, hey, we're going to try to save a few bucks and we're going to get everybody on board with this Frostbite engine. And it sounds like they had trouble with that. They got a lot of new people down at that studio. Look, I met a lot of those devs every year. I go in and see them at the Comic Cons, and man, a lot of them are kids. Mm-hmm. I'm way older than half of the people working there, so I'm thinking to myself, I'm sure they're talented, but you need experience too. You need experience working around hardware, and a lot of them look like they're pretty wet under the ears. And I think we saw that with a little bit of the development with Andromeda. So I'm going to cut them a little slack. I think there's a lot of talent, but they need time, they need the right direction, and they need EA to stop meddling and let them make the games they want to make the way they want to make them. It keeps on feeling to me like somebody keeps going in and going, we need your game, but we need your game to have enough crap to keep microtransactions flowing in long after the original stink of the new sale is gone. And that's what I'm kind of feeling, because there's tons of potential in Anthem, and anyone says otherwise, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. There is tons of potential in Anthem. It's a great franchise. The pillar is there. The foundation is set. There was a lot of great things to like about Anthem, but there was a lot of miscues. So I'm willing to cut them a little slack, but they're going to really need to come out and hit a home run on their next game. It's crazy because a team can make 4 or 5 great games in a row, and everybody's like, yeah, this company's awesome. And then they make one game or 2 games that sort of fall off a bit, and all of a sudden, the studio sucks. They can't make a good game to save their life. I don't know how you can go from that. Remember how Gears of War Judgment almost killed the Gears of War franchise single-handedly?
But it wasn't Epic. Yeah. But it wasn't the same studio with Gears Judgment. It was people who could fly. People could fly.
That's what he's saying, is that even then that could have killed the franchise.
Yeah, no, I know what he's saying, but my point is that's the point. And they made a bunch of games in a row. They were great. Everybody liked them. I don't think it's the same set of people making these last 2 games.
The point that I wanted to make with this whole situation is there's blame to be had on both sides, because lots of people say it's just EA. It's like, sure, EA has a lot to do with this, but at the same time, this was BioWare's vision for Anthem. It's just when they have issues behind the scenes and they admit that, it's just I just wanted to take a look at it from the perspective of people see these names in the industry, Bungie, BioWare, some of these established names that just have this shine to them. It's not cut and dry and saying, hey, these guys are going to be this studio forever and they're going to put this content out. That's just not the way the industry works. People go back and forth and back and forth. A good example of some of the stuff that's going on with Bungie, even after they cut ties with Activision, they released that. We talked about this on Gaming News at noon with Salty and Boom, about that gun that dropped on Xbox and PC that wasn't supposed to. It's supposed to be exclusive to PlayStation for a year, and it dropped. They're still having issues. There's still microtransactions. It's like the content they're putting out is kind of subpar. I just look at some of these studios that have this, they're put on a pedestal, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if people realize there's just human beings going back and forth. And just like New said, there's brand new, fresh people out of school joining the studio, and people move, and it's a fluid situation, but it's one that's a very interesting topic. Hyena, what do you think?
Yeah. I think when it comes to this stuff, I think it is wise not to, when it comes to not just video games, but entertainment as a whole, to not hold producers when it comes to music or films, for video games especially, like Hideo Kojima. I don't think it's wise to hold any of these things up on a pedestal because it creates a very unrealistic expectation of what they're supposed to make. And the second that they make something that isn't bad, the entire vision is gone and can never be. You can never get it back. Like you said, there is blame to go all the way around 360. EA's to blame for, just how they monetize stuff and the way that they have forced Frostbite on some of their developers. I still think Frostbite is a good engine where it's being applied. So you look at, Battlefield. Nobody can tell me that Battlefield isn't a beautiful game because it works with Battlefield. It works with Need for Speed. It works with
because
FIFA
the thing about the Frostbite engine is it's built for first-person shooters and those kinds of things. It's easy to transition to a driving game when you already have driving mechanics in your game. It's different when you're trying to use first-person shooting mechanics in an RPG that uses third-person. That's where the issue is that they're forcing the engine to do things it wasn't meant to do, and it hinders that aspect. That's what's hurting them, is that they're forcing an engine that was never meant to handle RPGs, that was never meant to handle third-person shooters, never meant to handle that kind of movement. It's always been a very straightforward first-person shooter kind of engine. That's
right. And when it comes to BioWare and EA forcing their engine onto this studio, that's where I call foul. And it's like, right, it's not meant for this stuff. But this game, to my knowledge, is the only game that I've heard that has had problems with Frostbite. Everything else I've listed has been perfectly fine. So
the same thing happened with Andromeda, though.
Yeah, that's a BioWare situation. It shouldn't be applied onto BioWare. When it comes to
but I'm saying
and
Andromeda and now Anthem was them being forced to use Frostbite.
Right, and I'm saying that going forward, Frostbite shouldn't be applicable to anything but Need for Speed,
things that
FIFA, Madden, and yeah, exactly. So there is to blame when it comes to EA with that stuff specifically. I blame BioWare because, like you said, this was their vision. Why the idea of a game being in pre-production for more than half a decade blows my mind, because no game should take that long. Most games that are in pre-production, 2 years max. And then the rest of the 2 years is actually polishing the game and putting stuff in for what they want. God of War was like 4.5, 5 years. Gears of War is going to be 3 years. These games should not be in pre-production for that. Like that shows no direction whatsoever.
When you get that, that's what happens with when that happens. That's how you get Duke
Nukem
forever. And it seems sad because it seems like BioWare doesn't know what it actually wants to be. Part of it's mismanagement when it comes to EA and within their own studio. And I think, looking at BioWare now, I think a lot of people have criticism when it comes to Rare, but I'm still behind the fact that I think Rare is closer to what they used to be than BioWare is today than what they used to be. Because when you look at Sea of Thieves, you can't tell me that that wasn't Rare. That's all Rare. Rare. It's just, I don't know. It's frustrating.
Sea of Thieves, don't tell me that game took fucking 5 years to make. I'm sorry if somebody was obviously taking a shit on the pot when they were doing that game.
Yo, no, I'm telling you, I was in the alpha, beta, whatever you want to call it, for Sea of Thieves from like February. When did that game come out again? When did it drop? 2018? From February of 2017. February 2017. And then in April, they invited me to, because it was once a month, one Saturday a month. Then in April, since I was actually one of the people that, they expect feedback. They don't just expect a thumbs, 2 stars, 3 stars. They want you to actually write. So I actually wrote stuff like, hey, you got something really interesting here. The water's great, yada, yada. But the one thing I consistently kept telling is you need people with voices in this game. And you know what I mean? I was like, because you go into the pub and the lady, you press to talk to her and she'll be like, oh, you know what I mean? And then words come up on the screen. It's just like, no, that's not, that works for Zelda. Nintendo can get away with that. They can. You know what I mean?
Since you guys segued perfectly into this, let's talk about this updates, the annual update. They smashed 2 updates together for Sea of Thieves. They're going to be having a traditional story mode. I think it's like 9 chapters or so. They're also going to be putting in the PvP mode with lots of additions. You can shoot cannons and break the sails or the steering wheel. There's going to be a harpoon gun, just tons and tons of changes. And the reason why Rare decided to do this update the way that they did it is it's kind of like a re-release of the game, because let's be honest, when the game released, it was pretty bare, right?
They released you an alpha.
Exactly.
That's
and
what
it was
they
the first game in Game Pass, and you can everybody knew that game was just, it was released before it should have been released, okay? The content wasn't there, but they've stayed true to their guns, and they've updated the game continually with, content updates every, couple of months. They've added, the ghost ships are roaming now. You have the megalodons, and they're just adding content. Now they're adding this story mode, which seems cool. Has some narrative there, which is awesome for the single player people. And then they're gonna have the PvP update, which is pretty cool as well if you look into that. I just think that Rare, just like Hyena was saying, if you look at their product, the way that they make it, and their vision, they stick to the Rare moniker, right? They're the way that you see Rare games when you get into Sea of Thieves, it feels like a Rare game. So I'm with him on that. Did you guys get a chance to check out any of these trailers for the update, and what did you guys think? And are you going to go back and play it, or are you interested, or are you just kind of out on this game?
I have, and sorry, I'm sorry, Hyena Den, did you want to go?
No, it's okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, I have looked at it because, like I said, I was in there from the ground floor. I even got my special little flag on my ship now saying I was there from the ground floor and all that. But the thing I kept telling them was, guys, you need more, you know what I mean? And then I remember when they had commercials come out for, like, one of these things, like the Hungering Deep. You got the guy by the fire on an island. Let me tell you about the Hungering Deep, my boy. I'm like, wait, that's what I wanted in the game. People who talk to me, people who actually tell stories, people I can have real conversation. I wanted a real fleshed out game. Now, granted, like this past year's, the BAFTAs that just finished, Rare, I think, won Best Continuing to Grow Game, because it really is. If they reviewed that game today, the game would probably be an 80 out of 100 on Metacritic. I mean, the game is really fleshed out. It's become something. But I mean, I'm willing to jump back into it. I need a crew.
Yeah.
I'm always willing to play, my dude. I love that game. So, Hyena, what were you saying?
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, and sorry for this pun, but I am all hands on deck when it comes to this. When it comes to
played, sir. When
it comes to this update, like I said before the podcast, taking advantage of that 1 month. Or 3 months of Game Pass for $1, I got my best friend his code, and I'm like, dude, we are doing it. I'm doing this for him specifically, so we can play Sea of Thieves, because he loves the game. And there's just so many different cool things that they're adding to this update. One of them in particular, I think it's the Tall Tales one, where they're adding what looks to be dungeons into the game, and with like traps and all sorts of things. And anybody that knows me knows that I love RPGs, and I love RPGs with just vast amount of dungeons in them, and dungeons in this game is going to be so cool. I'm ready for it, dude. I'm so ready for it.
The story looks intriguing, to be honest, man. And then this PvP situation, if you don't have like hours to do these quests, you can get in there. I forgot how many ships it was. It's like 13 in a small area. You guys get all the same maps, and you get this silver for getting turning these treasure chests in. So you all get the same map. You're going to the same location. It pushes everybody to the same area. You get money for sinking ships and killing people. You get money for turning it in, which there's a ship that's central in the area, and you all have to turn it in there. So it's just this chaotic, crazy situation. But the game only lasts like 25 minutes or something like that. So.
Right. I got something to say. Yo, Rare, where is our pets? I mean, come on. If Newcomb's going to need some pussy when he's on the high seas. Let's go.
Well, I think they teased one of the pets in the trailer. It's the little crab. has the that had the telescope in the I think the crab is one of the pets.
There we go. So we'll have crabs in the high seas.
Oh man!
Look, in all honesty, man, like I do commend them, because if there's nothing else about the Xbox lineup this past year, despite the fact that yes, they might not be bangers, they've came out with some really good, fun, unique games. And Sea of Thieves definitely is fun. I know sometimes that's hard for people to see that, but when you got a great crew, and I've sailed with Salty a few times and Titan and a variety of other people, you do have a good time. It's a chill game. But after a year in, I mean, these content updates are cool and all, but like, why are we still fighting skeletons on the islands? Like, why don't they have like actual pirates, or like, like that have flesh and bone, and like G-Man said, actually talk to you, or you go up and some of these islands are more populated. There's people going around, there's activities. You know what I mean? Like a world that actually starts to feel lived in, because it feels like a bloody ghost game. You know what I mean? Like the whole time you're just sailing for long times, get a treasure here and go and hope you don't get sunk or fight another ship or the Kraken comes out. And those things are great. The game has come a long ways from where it is, and I suspect it's going to continue going a long game. I don't know if we might even ever see a sequel to Sea of Thieves. Something tells me as long as they keep content coming out as one of those games they can keep building on, right? But I mean, I do like it. Like I said, it's unique. It's fun. It's one of those great games you can pop in for 20 minutes and kind of play, or you can play it for hours on end. And I got friends who like play this game religiously. It seems to have a big following. If you look, it's still a pretty decent, popular game on the streaming platforms and stuff as well. So I commend them for that. I am moderately excited for the DLC. There's lots of cool stuff coming, but again, there's a lot of things they need to do with this game if they want it to be all it can be. And I definitely think it needs more personality. It needs more life, so to speak, instead of you and your crews just kind of sailing around aimlessly most of the time trying to get the next bounty or whatever. So put some real story in and put a real mission in that has some consequence and makes you really feel and think about the game, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. Have some cool mutinies and stuff going on and actually force people to walk the plank and have some sharks eat them or something. You know what I mean?
I feel you. Bloody, do you have any comments on this, my guy? Good talk. Good talk. I think it's amazing. I love Sea of Thieves, man. Just teaming up with the crew. One of the things that I've noticed about my gaming habits lately is I used to be big into looter shooters and like the Destinies of the world, but I don't know what's happened. I don't know if I just put too many hours into those games, but I don't like the idea where if I don't play the game, I get behind, and I feel like I'm always on that grind, like where I need to log in, I need to play, or I'm gonna get left behind. Like with the Division 2, I've been playing Sekiro, and all my friends just grinding the Division 2, right? And before they updated the game, I couldn't play with my friends, and I just felt like I was left behind, so I just kind of left the game, and I just said, hey, it's not for me, these kind of games. But the cool thing about Sea of Thieves is there's not that barrier of entry, like where if your friends have been playing Sea of Thieves and they're Pirate Legends or whatever, you can't play with them. Like, you can get in there legitimately and play with your friends whenever you want to. You guys are all on the same level, and I think that's the cool part about this game, and I think that's what separates it from a lot of these other games, is because you can have a shared experience with your friends, especially with this PvP update. If you don't have a lot of time, we're all, we're adults here, we have busy lives. If you want to hop in with your friends for 25 minutes, go play. You don't have to worry about being under leveled or not being able to play, if that makes sense. So I think that's a cool thing. I think that obviously this is the most successful new IP for Microsoft this generation, and lots of people will shit on it just because it's Sea of Thieves and the launch that it had, but it's come a long ways, just put it that way. And I think that the success that we've seen this year, even with the way it was and then this huge update, I think that the streamers are going to hop back on this game when this update comes out, especially with the PvP mode. And I said, when I saw this game, I said, this is perfect for streamers, man. Like, you're on this boat, you have time to talk to your the people that are in your chat, like you can engage in intriguing battles. I think it's perfect for streamers. It is an intriguing discussion whether or not we're going to see a Sea of Thieves 2 or they're just going to continually update this game. I've kind of said that they're going to continue to update it for a couple years and then they'll come out with the sequel. sequel. I don't think they're going to just use this game for like 5 years. You know, I think eventually they'll put out a Sea of Thieves 2, maybe on a new engine, that they can get the content out faster, because they even commented on that. Like, there's a dude over there that said, man, if we have to do this work schedule that we put in for this year, he's like, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've been working really hard to get this content out, and I think part of the problem is just the engine they're using. But it's intriguing. Let us know if you guys play Sea of Thieves, if you're down with the update, what you think about all that stuff. But let's move on to the next topic. PSN ID changes went live, and honestly, you need to be a lawyer to kind of read the fine print with some of these PlayStation updates and editions and stuff like that. I just want to get you guys' take here, because they added the feature, and there's some people that were really excited about it, but then they kind of read the fine print and then they kind of pulled back, and a lot of people didn't take advantage of it. But I've seen people that have, and they're very happy with the ability to update their name. I want to know if you guys took advantage of this, and what do you guys think of this whole situation? Would you take advantage of it, the potential of losing, you know, your trophies and having some of your games crash? I know you could lose some of the purchased content that you made. Chat, let us know if you guys did this. Did you experience any of those issues? We want to talk about it in the chat. You guys are awesome. Hit that like button. G-Man, what do you think of this whole you need to be a lawyer situation for ID changes, you know?
It's a great query. You know, no, it's absurd. It's absurd. This is a massive, massive fail for Sony, in my opinion. This should not be this hard. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, it's 2019. You know what I mean? Look at all the stuff. They're preparing streaming games over at Google, and you can't do a proper name change on your network. You know what I mean? We have missiles that can pinpoint like where people are on the planet, and you can't do a simple. We have Franks that plump when you cook them, for God's sake. You can't, and you're telling me you can't change your name on PlayStation? Are you serious? I was like, this is absurd. This is like, I'm literally at a loss for words with this. I'm like, what? Lose the stuff I buy because I changed my name? You know what I mean? Screw you. Yeah. This is absurd.
What do you think, man? The whole ID change, man.
Well, it's long overdue, and thank God, because you know, Chubby Fudge Pounder wasn't doing it for people. You know what I mean? No, in all seriousness, it's long overdue. I don't know the logistics. I didn't really have a time to go into it. I know I have seen people out there change. They seem pretty happy because, you know, there's a lot of PlayStation people out there that originally bought their PlayStations when they were probably like 13, and like everybody says, how many McLovins are out there on PlayStation, right? So, yeah. It's long overdue. It's better than nothing, I suppose. But yeah, it does come with some problems. I've heard something about trophies and stuff don't sync and a few different things. But step in the right direction. I'll give them kudos for that. But like G-Man says, man, like should have been done a long time ago. And it's 2019, and the struggle is real over there. I don't know what the hell it is, but at least for me, I went with you know, I have Newf Nukem 76, so I think that's self-explanatory. Don't really need to go changing my name on there. It's all good. Yeah, that's my two cents. Kudos to Sony, but there's still some
Hyena, man. Have you seen some of the stories out there? Ah, man, what a revelation. So Sony's introducing name changes. You know what I'm saying? Like, God. You should have seen some of these articles out there. It seemed like the second coming. You know what I'm saying? People were like, oh, my God, this is so awesome. It's just like, man, are we in the 360 days? I mean, this has been a long time coming.
Yes, we are.
What do you think of this news, the PlayStation ID changes?
It's bullshit, honestly. So Sony has finally made it to 2005. So congratulations to them. This entire news is just, I find it baffling. Like, I understand they have to start somewhere, but couldn't you guys have done it 14 years ago? When everybody else was doing, when Steam was doing it, when Xbox was like, it blows my mind. I understand, and I used to say this on my channel all the time, that Sony's back-end infrastructure is not good. Whatever they have, it's like duct tape holding everything together. It's really ridiculous. I was pissed off like a year and a half ago I bought a digital game, and out of nowhere it was just taken right under from my feet. And I bought the game, it's on my account and everything, and it's like, why did this get taken from me when I purchased it legally? So hearing that people are losing not just achievements but past games, data, like you name it, anything regarding data, people are just losing it left and right. And I'm like, I got pissed off when I lost a single game a year and a half ago. If this is what is happening to people's accounts to change their names, I wouldn't do it. I mean, it's not, I don't have a PlayStation 4, so I can't do it. But even if I did, hell no, absolutely not. Like that's just ridiculous. I'm like Noof said, they do get kudos for at least doing something. But hopefully it gets better here in the future for them, because anything regarding their online infrastructure is just so poorly made. They're barely better than Nintendo, and that's not saying much because Nintendo's infrastructure isn't good at either. But like, dude, come on, guys, we got to get into the future, the 21st century. We're all here besides you guys.
It's just, we give Nintendo shit for that stuff too, right? Like when they get the most basic shit imaginable, right? Like in-game local chat, right? Oh my god, it's so amazing. Did you guys hear that you're gonna be able to chat with your friends in 2019? Holy shit, you know what I'm saying?
Sony's too busy throwing Benjamins at people like Remedy to put exclusive content on their box.
See, why are people giving Sony so much praise for this? It's something that should have been around 15 fucking years ago.
Yep.
Right? This is something that we've had on Xbox since the 360 days. It took them 2 years, 3 years from when they said, hey, look, we'll consider it, to actually get it out. Like, the fact that you can't change your name without all these other issues to these games. Yes, some of them are a small handful of games, but the fact is you still have the risk of losing. You lose all your trophies, you lose your save data, you lose access to your DLC, and anything you purchase digitally, which the market is now very digital. How do you make an oversight this bad? Why do you let it persist to the point that this is an issue? Why is it so far the ass that this is where we are? This is what's considered a big achievement for gaming and news. Why the fuck is this newsworthy? Honestly, why is this so damn hype?
We have a story. We have a story to add on to the situation. So we talked about this on Gaming News at Noon, but I don't know if it was properly explained. So the rumor is that PlayStation's going to introduce PS Plus Premium Edition in 2020 with the launch of the PlayStation 5. So they're going to have quote-unquote exclusive betas and private servers. It just sounds like it's just an excuse to increase the price of the service, in my opinion. This PS Plus Premium will offer players guaranteed video game betas and alpha access, so kind of giving people a reason to pay more. But it's just, man, I heard this news here and I just was like, man, these subscription services.
This is how they're finally catching up to what Xbox has been doing. Is like, hey guys, we seriously need money to support this shit. We spent almost a decade for free, and now we have to charge, and everyone's like, oh yeah, it's okay now, but it still sucks. No, this is the kind of stuff that gives me a headache on why people support what they've done, because their business decisions boggle my fucking mind on how so many consumers will just eat out the palm of their hand, because none of this is worthwhile. None of this is good stuff. The fact is, okay, with the name change, how the hell did they think, hey, maybe if we actually just tie the security authentication to your actual base name, that'll solve everything. No, everyone anywhere has been using multi-hexadecimal logarithmic codes to be able to use as security. I think the one that they were speaking specifically was called Qualid, which is it's a lot to explain. I'm not gonna go into it. But the fact is, why are they saying, hey, yeah, the name on your front door, yeah, that's your entire login information. Not everything. It's stupid. And now the fact that they're like, hey, we really need to get subscription money for PlayStation Plus. how can we make this somewhat worthwhile? The stuff that they offer on PlayStation Plus isn't even always that great. Sometimes it has moments where it is good, but I still wouldn't trust them with my goddamn credit card.
Nope.
Never.
Right there with you. Right there.
So anyway,
with you.
it's just interesting. I think I'm not on board with this whole this premium service or upping these I don't know. Noof, you talked about it. The subscriptions are kind of getting out of hand here, and especially when you add, if you have a multi-console owner, so you have PlayStation or you have Xbox, you have Xbox Live, then you have this situation, then you have Nintendo, and then you have Netflix. It's just like they're all trying to raise their prices for different reasons. And PS Plus Premium, when you're telling me I'm gonna get video game betas and some other bullshit, I don't know. I just think it's just an excuse to just kind of raise the fees, honestly. So it is what it is. Anybody else have any comments on this before we move on? No? Okay.
All those things start adding up. That's all I'm going to say at the end of the day. You're putting money in a bunch of different places. All sounds fine to Danny when it's $10 here and $10 there, but 10 subscriptions at $10, that's $100 a pop going out your window every month. You know what I mean? And some of these places, like I think Bloody said, whether it's Sony or other places, I don't trust everybody with this automatic renewal and your credit cards and stuff, because I've already seen it with my PlayStation on 3 different occasions. I've turned off the auto renewal, go back, fucking it's turned back on again. It's like, what the hell is going on here? Like, keep turning on the auto renewal shit, because I like to just buy the cards. I go out and get the card and then put my code in and it's taken care of, right? So I know where my money's gone. It's all paid up front and I don't have to worry about, a fee coming out of my account every month. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's kind of crazy, man. It's cool, but it's crazy at the same time. You got to keep track of it all.
So let's move on to the next topic. I wanted to talk about Sekiro real quick, because they're in the news again. There's this whole thing about it needs an easy mode, and come to find out, Sekiro sold 2 million copies in the first 10 days, and it's the fastest selling From Software game ever. So this is including all the Dark Souls titles, the Bloodborns, all that stuff, right? So it's performed, quote, well on all platforms. And is this proof that an easy mode is not needed? Because in my opinion, it is definitely proof, because there weren't people out there. I don't remember this. I don't know if I just wasn't on social media as much, but I don't remember people begging for an easy mode when Bloodborne came out, or an easy mode when Dark Souls 3 came out, and those are pretty difficult games. I'm a big Soulsborne fan, and I can tell you that Sekiro is probably the hardest game that they've come out with in a while. It's very brutal, and that's why there's this blowback from the fans. But you look at the sales, they're doing just fine, folks. You know what I'm saying? So the proof's in the pudding. I mean, it's not like their games are selling shit, and the reason why that is because they feel a need in the market. I mean, I think at this point, video games has just gotten too soft, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
of course, Sekiro's got an easy mode. It was easy for me not to put my money on the game.
Zingo. So I think it's cool that they can, call their shots and have their game difficult, and it does well. Like 2 million copies in 10 days. Hell yeah, dude. I love the game. Like I said, I've said my piece on this. We don't have to go into it too much, but if you guys have anything to say about Sekiro selling 2 mil in 10 days, speak your piece, or I'll play a weird gift for you.
I think this is proof that would they have sold more copies if it was more accessible? Sure, because that's basic logic. Yeah. But I think this is proof that From Software doesn't care, because they already knew what their game was going to do. They, in their minds, they don't have to conform to whatever anybody is saying, because their games on their own merits, the way that they intended them to be, sell anyways. So, and if their games are already selling well with the way that they wanted to make them, I don't think they're going to change, period.
I got to give an L out to Spider-Man. He's used to getting these, so hold on.
Shit.
Let's give you an L there, sir. He says 2 million is not that good in 10 days. Well, what are you looking for, sir? What are you looking for, sir? L's in the chat.
These guys are in love with these crazy numbers like God of War and Spider-Man PS4 did.
Even
it's like, come on,
even if they are looking for those numbers, 2 million in 10 days is outstanding, folks. I mean, come on. That's not even a month.
Yeah. Let's be honest. I played both God of War and Spider-Man. Neither of them had the combat that could compare or the depth of gameplay that could compare with Sekiro. They couldn't. They tell you a great story. They do. Both of them tell you a great story. Both of them are great games. I liked both of them. I liked God of War more than Spider-Man. I thought Spider-Man was a little too derivative of the Arkham games, except they left out the most important thing: quick-fire gadgets during a combat session. Like, why do I have to stop gameplay and bring up a radio to choose a web bomb? That was completely stupid. But anyway, I digress. What I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, when it comes to Sekiro, I think we've beaten this horse before, you and I, Salty. The thing is, nothing makes me feel like I'm in a real medieval fight, like the way they made that katana blocking and trying to knock the guy off balance and then get an instant kill in. Nothing matches it. It's the best hack and slash combat of the gen. Yes, that includes God of War. God of War is a great game, deserves its Game of the Year awards. But this is a new year, and Sekiro just has better combat.
Shout out to Mooch, hashtag Who's Yelling. Let's get that in the chat. He has a Twitch channel. You guys should check that out. He's been streaming Sekiro, and he's on board with the whole it doesn't need an easy mode because it's very rewarding as is, So.
That's right, Mooch. You've missed me the last 3 weeks. I've been welcomed with open arms. Open arms.
Hey, if anyone hasn't been paying attention, I've been streaming Sekiro too, over on Mixer. I was like,
I have too, right?
I would say I've stood by that. Yeah, I would say I've seen you too. I was like, I stood beside the fact that the Soulsborne games, whatever you want to call them, the Souls, like everything that From Software has done, that is built in. That is their vision. Not everything needs to be accessible. Not every game is going to be for everyone. Not everything needs to have multiple difficulties. Yes, there's some that do because that's what they intend for. This is not one of those games. This is for those people who want punishment, who are patient, who are willing to put the time into it because of the fact that this is old school gaming. When you go back and play games from the 80s, right? When you play Contra, when you play Mega Man, when you play all those games, guess what? All the stuff at the arcade, you don't get an easy mode. No, you have to deal with the game as it was meant to, all the unfairness, and do what you can on what little stuff that you can, especially old school arcade games, right? Once you use your credit, guess what? You got to put a whole new fucking quarter in, and it's not going to be any easier. It's still going to be the same damn thing, and that's exactly what this game is doing. That's exactly what From Software has done. They have kept that old school feel of it is meant to be difficult. You learn through suffering. You learn from your mistakes and you get better. I was like, for anyone who has played any of the Dark Souls games knows that it's such a time investment. Even if you've played them religiously and do well, every time a new one comes out, it takes so long to relearn everything. I was like, I remember
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, me personally, I have 200 hours in Dark Souls 1. Every achievement in that game. I went to Dark Souls 2, 200 hours in that game. Still never beat it. Because of the fact that I was doing the DLC as well, that is significantly harder. Dark Souls 3, harder than Dark Souls 2. A little bit not as long, but it still takes a little bit to get readjusted to. Sekiro is a totally different beast. Yes, they helped kind of streamline certain things. However, it still has a significantly different combat system. The other games, parries was completely optional. And this game, it forces you to learn how to deflect and parry.
You must.
Save your... Yes, you have to. You sit there and block, guess what? It's just going to be like it was in Dark Souls, is that you're going to get knocked off balance. It's going to take away your stamina and stuff like that, and you're going to get majorly ass beat because everyone's going to just lay into you. However, if you learn how to properly parry, guess what? You're going to push the other person off. It's not going to affect you and all sorts of things. This game teaches you so much about being aggressive while being defensive and forces you to take that. A lot of people are just like, you know what? I'm just going to make the ultimate magic build and just stay away or sit there and, just use Drake's sword the whole time. It's like, get the hell out of here with that bullshit. But no, this game is completely different. It takes a while. They still have the aspects that you'd want that make it very much.
No, they pretty much exactly what you said real quick. They brought back the intensity and the moment to moment shit I could this is my last quarter. Damn it! I need to be able to beat. They took that intensity and they brought it back to gamers. You cannot just sleepwalk through any part of the game.
Go back and look at Tenchu, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, Tenchu, or even the old school, Ninja Gaiden games.
My thought is this, right? I'm totally interested in the game. I like the content. I've watched people like Salty and Mooch and a variety of people kind of play the game a little bit, and it looks really cool. It's something that, yes, I would like to try, but I know that style of game isn't my bag. I've tried Bloodborne. I've tried games very similar to that. I'm not a big fan. But I don't understand, like, what does it matter if they added an easy mode and people played it and enjoyed it on their own leisure? If you're hardcore and legitimate hardcore, you're not lying about it, then what does it matter that someone else plays it on a different difficulty? You're still going to play it on the default. You're going to beat it at its hardest. And you know what? Well, maybe you get all the achievements. Maybe the easy guys, they get like a fraction or almost no achievements, but at least they get to enjoy a game. And it doesn't even have to be easy as in, my God, it's a cakewalk, mash the X button. But something like, I've said this before on a variety of podcasts, and maybe I've said it here, like the adaptive AI thing, where basically you're playing the game on its standard setting difficulty like everybody else plays, but when it knows you're really getting fucking pounded, you're getting beaten to the ground, this guy's been on this boss, and you have the option to select it or not. You select adaptive from the start of the game. You know how a lot of games now, they have that, like if you're dying in a game and then like after you die so many times, it comes up and says, would you like to change difficulty? Something like that, right? So then you just say, yeah, I want adaptive. So then the boss, it either maybe takes a couple less hits, or it just, it goes a little easier on you, so you still have challenge, but you keep progressing without the constant, oh my God, I've been here 2 hours and I'm swearing and I'm breaking controllers. Like that's just not for me. Right?
See,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it diminishes anything from the hardcore people, but it at least allows a different group of gamers to enjoy the content without
I can definitely see where you're coming from, but with these From Software games, they're designed to have strong gameplay and not that much story. So what you're experiencing,
no, the story's there. You just have to really
them, they wanted to do like a Red Dead Redemption type game with their samurais and stuff like that. There's a story out there. The story is just kind of built in, right? It's not like, hey, you have huge cutscenes or whatever.
This one actually has more. This one has more of a story than some of the others. But the thing about the Souls games is that, or the From Software games specifically, is that there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. The world is massive. The world is beautiful. It's well built, and there's always a lot of lore. However, some of them you have to really work towards. Look at specifically Dark Souls 1, the story of Solaire, right? Everyone knows Solaire. Praise the sun, the whole shebang. Well, there's multiple times that you have to talk to Solaire, work with him, summon him at certain bosses, and meet him in certain areas to really understand his story. If you don't, he just dies, and you don't know what happens. And there's 3 different outcomes that come to Solaire's story, as well as the fact that everyone knows the Onion Knight, right? 2 endings to his story as well, depending on where you meet him, where you talk to him, and what happens, because you can either save him, he dies, or you find him turned into a hollow and meet his daughter, who's the one who kills him, or you have to kill him and then later meet his daughter. There's a lot of different things that come in these games that you have to work for. Nothing is handheld.
No, that's the whole point too. There are literally YouTube videos made by the Souls community, basically summing up the lore of Dark Souls. And these videos are an hour and a half long. You may as well be watching a movie. You know what I mean? Yep. There's a lot to these games. There's a lot to Bloodborne's lore. So, you know what I mean? No doubt about it. But the actual story that I've experienced so far is easily Sekiro's.
Yeah, this, like I said, Sekiro literally has this. The story is more right there. It's more in your face. It's more upfront about it. However, there's still a lot of the other characters that you meet and a lot of things that you do, the interactions that you have with them, what you do for them, also changes the story of what you uncover, as well as the fact that this one has a lot of endings. Typically, I think the other games only had about 2 to 3 different endings. This one apparently has a bunch more. So
we've kind of
that's
beat
great
the
to
dead
see.
horse here, but I think what it comes down to is the way this game looks. It's aesthetically pleasing to the eye. It has the setting of Japan, and it has the cherry blossoms, and the way it's just, for whatever reason, I didn't hear any of this stuff with Bloodborne or Dark Souls, and those are punishing as well. I don't know if it's just the way the game looks or feels or plays or whatever.
No, it's just literally the atmosphere nowadays is that, hey guys, the reviewers need things to be easy so that way they can get through.
That's a great point. Let's move on to the next topic though. Halo Infinite rumored to have the largest budget ever for a video game, sitting at a juicy $500 million. If this is true, it would top the highest budget game, and that's Red Dead Redemption 2 from Rockstar. This is interesting because 343 has a huge development team. It's just crazy. Other big name titles such as Destiny and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 didn't cost more than $300 million. So if you're talking about a budget of $500 million, this is insane. A lot of people are saying that this is because of them making a new engine and et cetera, et cetera. That's fine. But this figure is crazy. And I think it points to a lot of things. I think that they're highly invested in one of their core franchises, and it makes me very excited. We had a topic submission from one of our Patreon supporters. That's Ashtray. He wants to know what we want to see in Halo Infinite. So we'll kind of, feed that into this topic here. I just want to know what you guys think about this budget, and do you think it will translate into a successful game? And what would you like to see in Halo Infinite to make it to get it back to where it was, to make Halo great again, per se? Because I've said this and people get triggered about it. They're like, oh my God, Halo is great. It's never changed. It's as popular as it was in the Halo 2 days. It's like, no, hold on, guys. I mean, I guess your guys' memories aren't that good, because like when Halo 2 dropped, it was like a news story everywhere. People couldn't wait to buy the games. It's just, everybody needed to play the game. It's just, that's not really the way it is with the Halo game now. So let's talk about the budget for Halo Infinite and what you guys want to see in this game. Whoever wants to start away. Good. Yeah.
Okie dokie.
All right,
Okie dokie. You know what I mean? I gave it a whole half.
Well, let's just say, games are sometimes like actors. You know what I mean? One minute they're hot, the next minute they're not. Look at Robert Downey Jr. For, that guy fell off the world for a while, and then all of a sudden he came out with Iron Man, and now, everybody knows his name, Robert Downey Jr. He is Iron. You know what I mean? Same thing. Like Vin Diesel for a while dropped off the earth, and then he had to come back because he had so many stinkers. He made some Fast and Furious movies to kind of rejuvenate the career a little bit. Look, games are no different. Sometimes when there's such a long gap in between, people kind of forget that the game was even there. It makes you yearn for a sequel, and that's just why I think the hype is starting to get real for Halo, because we haven't seen a game for a while. Halo 5 Guardians was decent, but let's just admit it was a bit of a misstep. There were some things that could have been better about the game. It was fun, it was co-op, and it's still one of the best multiplayer games out there. But when you saw those commercials of Halo 5 and you really played up Master Chief versus Locke, and then the game somehow was disjointed, and there really wasn't as much of that as we saw. The way the commercials made it look like, wow. And then you play the game and it's like, what the hell is going on? But look, the budget on this, the team behind it, and Microsoft and the studio 343 know all too well that they have to hit the home run with Halo 6 here. You know what I mean? Halo Infinite, whatever you want to call it. They got to hit a home run here now. They got to bring this back. And I agree 100%. Halo now is still a big name. But you ask kids, if you went in and ask a kid right now about Halo, there's probably a lot of kids that look at you with three eyes, be like, what the hell is that? Yeah. You say Fortnite, fucking even like 4-year-olds are going, Fortnite, Fortnite. You know what I mean? Because that's the way it's promoted. It's what's being played. That sort of thing. Halo 5, for example, is like not even close to being in the top 10 on like the top stream games for multiplayer. It's a big MLG thing, as is Gears. But, as far as being the top of mind, so they got a lot of work to do, and they got to promote it. And I think a large part of that budget will be in promoting this game. They got to go all out. It's probably going to be on Game Pass. So I suspect the numbers are going to be absolutely massive for the adoption of the next Halo game. There is no excuse if it drops day and date. But, they got a lot of work to do. I've said before, they need to come up with a great villain. the last few games, the villains haven't exactly been like memorable or like, oh my God, you know what I mean? It's not in the way that, you know, the elites and stuff were, and the brutes and different things, you know what I mean? So they got a lot of work to do to sort of restore the image of the franchise. It's a classic franchise, and us hardcore guys know what it is, but it's getting the new people on board, and it's making it accessible. Having a great story is key. Single player is going to be huge. Their multiplayer I'm not worried about so much, because I think they have enough experience that they're going to knock it out of the park again on the multiplayer, that sort of thing. And this game engine that they're building looks absolutely astonishing. I'm really, you know, excited to see what they come out with. But yeah, Halo is not where it used to be, but it can be. It could still, a great game is all it takes, like I said, to be back on the king of the hill kind of thing. Let's just hope that they don't go out and water this Halo down. And like, for me, honestly, I'm not begging for a battle royale mode in Halo. I know some people are like, yeah, bring battle royale to Halo. It's like, you know what? If they do, I guess okay, because they're pleasing one of the markets. But again, that's sort of the same situation as having the easy mode in Sekiro. You know what I mean? Like, who are you building the battle royale for? Just to please the market? They've never had it in there before. They don't need it now, but I get it if that's what they're going to do. Stay true to your fan base. Stay true to the series. Bring Master Chief back in a big way. He is their star. He has to be the star, not a secondary character. He has to be larger than life. He has got to be the ass kicker, gum chewer. Bring Chief in, baby. Let that green be mean. Let that guy go. Bring Cortana back, make her sexier than ever, and let's see some crap fly.
Awesome.
Nice,
Buddy,
nice.
what do you think of this budget, and what do you want to see in Halo Infinite? Good talk. No,
dude, you give me half a second. I'm gonna slap you right now. No, see the rumors of the budget, that it's a mixed signal. Yeah, it shows that there's an investment if it's true. We know a lot of it was them really going into R&D and really working what engine that they want to create, because that the engine that they're making now is what they should have done after Reach, because when 343 took over at Reach, they were supposed to make a new engine back then. They didn't. They continue using the leftover engine that Bungie is still using to this damn day, and is using in Destiny, which is a piece of shit, because that's why we have those crap ass Halo physics that make no sense on why anything works the way it does. It's about time that they invest into it. It looks beautiful. I want to see really what it can do more. I really hope that we get a showcase at E3. I guarantee we're going to get a showcase at E3. I want to see what this engine is capable of. I was like, well, what they showed at the trailer and the teaser is all beautiful. I want to see if that's actually what the engine's capable of. So I know that they have really great, you know, R&D teams and stuff like that who work for Microsoft and everything, and what they have there at the time for 343. So you know that there's a team dedicated to working and building that engine together. So that's really great. Now, as for what I want to see, that one's a little bit harder, because as I stated in the past, I've never beat any of the Halo games except for Reach. I've only read the books. So for me, I was like, I don't really know. I was like, I don't take no L's. I was like, I've admitted that. I have never lied. I've always been very forthcoming about that. So if you want to hand an L for that, you could suck it.
This is the face you made when I asked you that question. Hey, what do you want to see in Halo? I've never actually played it. Awesome. Anybody else not played this game, so I can ask you what you want to see in Halo Infinite? No, I'm just kidding.
Sure. I've never
what do you
played
think
a Halo
of the budget,
game in my
and what do you want to see
life.
in Halo Infinite?
Okay, hang on, Zink. I played through Halo 1 because I was streaming it with one of my podcast mates. The physics in that game is so all over the place. Don't even go there with me.
You know what? All right. Zink, I'm on your side on this. You're
the
smoking
gameplay.
crack.
No, the gameplay's fun.
You're
The physics does not make sense.
What physics are you talking about?
The physics does not make sense. How is dropping 2 inches to the right on a small little slope suddenly gonna send me flying halfway across the map, slamming into the wall and killing myself? That makes no goddamn sense. All right, that shit exists in Destiny still. You take one of those, you hit one of those little corners, you get flying halfway across the map. All right.
Yeah, you still get an L.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
The thing
I don't think I came across that.
The thing that bothers me is you can't aim down sights. That's just egregious. I hate it.
Can we just get a real good
it.
bad villain? Like the only thing that Halo's never really had is a real big villain. I think they really need to focus.
Whose son is this?
They need.
Yeah, I seriously, I
you know,
agree 100%.
Hey, reach out to Xbot and Girls Can Game. You know, that's my mom and my daddy. So, you know, if you really want to start something. Anyways, the biggest thing that I've said in the past is that the only thing that I could say is that Halo never had one of those very big villains that really drove as the ultimate, you know, focus. You know, if you look at Gears, you had Rom in the first game. Dude, when you saw Rom, you knew, holy crap, this dude's a badass.
How would you know about the villains if you actually intimidated by him,
man? Because I've read the books, I've watched enough of it. I know.
Play.
All right, you know, look, Jack.
The only person the only entity that's ever had any sort of like intimidation factor in the Halo universe was Atriox from Halo Wars 2.
All right. So let me just finish this, okay? You know Jack and shit. And Jack's out of town, okay? So
but Jack's always here. That's all I'm gonna say. That's right. Jack's always here.
Believe me, I know your shit, son. All right, so just listen to me.
No, we don't need the fucking flood. Get the fuck out of here with the flood. We don't need them again.
Too late. So listen. Okay. As far as the budget, I'm all for it. Yeah. Fucking come on, man. Make this. Or come on, it's your storefront. Halo, it just is. I'm not saying you can't have other things next to it, like this year you got Kate, the new star of Gears. You know, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm looking forward to seeing a branched out story for Gears. You got Forza. Come on, what can you do with Forza? That can't be the face of your console. You know what I mean? Halo has to be the face of your console. Make this thing as great as it could be. I was so glad they got off the 3-year cycle of making Halo games, and they realized, no, screw this. It's ready when it's ready. Let's just work on this one. Let's work on it. Okay. All right. Now, as far as what do I want to see in it? I was listening to another podcast I listened to, RDX. I don't know if anybody ever listens to RDX Dealer's channel. I mean, great podcast. I heard a few guys talk about just give us a hard reset of Halo. No. Do not pretend nothing happened before Halo Infinite. That would be absolutely suicide and stupid.
Yep.
Okay? You need to wrap up what's going on. Yeah, people say, oh, they screwed it up. They went the wrong way. It's a terrible story. You know what I mean? Okay. You know what? You know what? But, dude, that's fine. It happened in films many times. All of a sudden you save it with the next movie, you know what I mean, or you save it with the next novel. Dude, it can be done. I'm not saying the whole game has to focus on Cortana and the created and you know, her taking over humanity and all this stuff. I mean, granted, now if you want to talk about enemies, they had the perfect enemy at first with the three fucking those three nerds on the council, the High Council. Yeah, that's what I call them, because they couldn't really fight. You had what? Regret, mercy, and truth. You know what I mean? So then this is where they really screwed up. Exactly what Gears did, in my opinion. Yeah, you had a great villain in General Rom, and you killed him in the first game. You know what I mean?
And then you also had another great villain with Scourge.
Had that guy
and
with
then
the
Scourge
with the spinning sticks.
Yeah. Hey,
what do you mean you had Queen Mira? You had Queen Mira.
Scourge, actually, you watch these guys murk people in front of you. You watch Scourge lead the Kansas and attack all the Gears that were trying to break into the palace.
I guess this is where you and I are different.
And then you had Queen Mira herself. No. And then you had Queen Mira herself. All the prophets, they were standing around and jerk each other off and say, yeah, let's do this thing.
Okay, so then the next thing Halo had a great chance with the Didact in Halo 4. That could have been a great villain. Anybody who's read the Forerunner trilogy, that have been perfect. So what they do? They killed him at the end of Halo 4. Literally, he didn't really die. He actually gets killed in a comic that succeeds, in succession to Halo 4. But I digress. They keep screwing up. So now you got Cortana as the head villain. It's like, I don't want to see Cortana get killed. What are you doing to me? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
You're proving my point.
You're not. No, I'm really not. They had good villains. You're a retard.
No,
listen to me.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you what you guys are talking about.
Hang on. We got to keep PC. We can't use that word.
I have no idea.
All right, I apologize.
Call me a fucking idiot.
There we go. I couldn't tell you what you guys are talking about, to be honest.
Calm down.
So you guys just we'll end it right there because you guys are getting a little bit nerdy and off track to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's getting a little bit. So, gotcha. Fair enough.
Hey, G-Man, just so you know, I love you.
Den,
man.
You're quiet, man.
Oh wow, fuck you too.
Is he there? Did he get abducted by aliens? Oh, okay.
No, I am here, and I just turned on the Xbox. Here to say the only relevant information I have regarding Halo is that Gears is better than Halo. So yeah.
Oh, ooh.
I honestly, when it comes to Halo, when it comes to this budget stuff, so when I looked at that $500 million figure, it depends on what encompasses the entire thing. If it's just the game, no, not even close. I don't even think it's a percentile of that. Probably 100 million at max when it comes to the game itself. But if you're talking marketing, yeah, marketing takes up a hell of a ton of money when it comes to video. Like Red Dead Redemption 2's marketing was almost half of what the actual game took to develop, which is insane. So if it's marketing, which obviously they're going to do marketing the game, paying your employees for X amount of years, this game would have probably taken 5 years by the time it comes out. I don't know. I don't know if I believe it or not. I don't know. Everybody knows. I don't care for Halo. I don't care for Bungie. I don't care for 343. But
wait. So he gets a pass, but I get the shit, right? No, y'all can suck. No, I was honest about it, and suddenly I'm the bad guy. Y'all can all piss off. No. Everyone can piss off.
And I know this, and I know that.
Yeah, because you sound like you're like the expert they're calling in when they're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
I literally admitted from the get-go.
I'd like to call Bloody Knuckles in. He's an expert on Halo. Let's dial him up for this is the $1 million question.
Bloody.
Hey man,
y'all can all suck it. All right,
if they turn Halo into Skyrim, I am in day one, baby.
Halo to Skyrim.
Let's do it.
Hey, Ashtray was fully.
I'd love to see some spinoff.
And then we'll see Master Chief stop around every corner to read these giant books of Halo lore.
Yeah.
Hey.
Why is it died?
All right. So anyway, we'll move on from that. Unless, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on now. Let's talk about this leaked, so-called leak of Microsoft's E3. I just want to briefly go over that, if I could find it. I can't find it, so let's move on to the next topic. This quote-unquote expert says that the PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox are going to be the last consoles ever. All right, what do you guys think about that? You believe?
I believe it.
Tell me,
and I'm going to explain why. If we are going under the assumption that the next generation is going to last as long as this or the 360s, that's going to put that generation, by the tail end of that generation, is going to go up to probably we're 2028. By then, if we're assuming that technology has progressed forward, which it always will, by then I think data caps and everything revolving around streaming is going to get to the point where it's going to be good enough, and you won't need a console specifically anymore, unless that's your sort of forte, right? Like most people on this panel have said, they expect streaming to be prevalent within 10 years, 5, 10, 15 years. By the time that gen ends, it's going to be there. So I think this is going to be the last for me. Okay, so let me reiterate. I think it's going to be the last when it comes to Microsoft and or Xbox and PlayStation specifically. Nintendo is the only wild card that I can never gauge when it comes to technology, because they walk to their own beat, right? Who knows what Nintendo's trying to do? I kind of foresee Nintendo going into like the entire like mobile space and even though they've already done that with their handhelds, but like making their own phones and stuff. Like Nintendo could do some crazy stuff. But like before, I would say maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, I was under the assumption, like my point on where our console's going to go after next gen is I like to look at Microsoft with their Surface lineup. Microsoft is getting lapped by the iPad over and over and over again, but they still make one because they want people to have that premium
you
product.
do realize that the Surface is actually doing really well, right? It's
it's doing well, but for competition's sake, they are getting lapped by Apple and the iPad. And that's iPad.
Literally because it's literally because of the fact that
it
has
share.
The Apple logo. No, yeah, it's because it says Apple and it says iPad. That's the only reason that the iPad sells. The iPad is shit, and a lot of people are starting to see just how good the Surface is. It's becoming a workhorse laptop and multi-tablet like PC. It's actually doing really well.
I'm not an Apple fan for any stretch of the imagination, but my point to this is that me thinking that Microsoft would continue with their premium consoles is I look towards the Surface. In regards to like Sony and Microsoft, right? Microsoft's consoles aren't going to sell as much as PlayStation's, but they still give you that premium experience. Microsoft's Surface lineup is getting lapped by the iPad, and not just by a small margin. It's a very large margin, but they still continue to make that premium experience because people still buy it, right? So after hearing this news, I've shifted to the right slightly because, and that's only because if you're under the assumption that that next generation is going to last as long as this one or the last, that time frame is going to put you in a spot where technology should have progressed enough to where streaming is a thing and it's going to be better. But that's only if the next generation lasts as long as this and the last. If it doesn't, then who knows?
I'm muted. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. I think that you're right on the money there. I think that this next generation, who knows how long it's going to last, and then by that time the streaming services should be up to par there. So I don't know how far it's going to be off on this prediction, but I still think that we're going to get traditional consoles after this generation. I don't know how traditional they'll be, like how standard they'll be, but I think we'll still have hardware. Noof, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's still a market there, obviously. I mean, the first person to lead the parade is going to be probably Microsoft because the way they've been transitioning. Sony and Nintendo have done a little bit better recently with hardware. So there's a lot of factors that are going to play in, and it's way too early to even tell where they all stand and how things are going to change in the next 5 years even. It wouldn't surprise me, though. Again, there's going to be a lot of people heading toward the streaming and the cloud and stuff like that because, again, it eliminates that entry level point, that barrier. And if there's one reason why there's still people out there these days that don't play games is because of barriers, whether that's a $300 console, $400 console. And, frankly, for especially new people coming in, if they can play pretty much the same experience as you and not need a $500 console, most of them are going to take the opposite route as long as, again, playing the most games is affordable, which is something like Game Pass is going to do. And, like I said, Google just made things interesting with Stadia, but we've got a long ways to go. I suspect, like you said, Salty, that we'll still see consoles in the future, but how they will look and what sort of console they will be remains to be seen. So we're in it for another couple of years, see what this next generation has, and we'll go from there. I mean, graphics are starting to plateau a little bit too, right? That's the other side of the coin where like how much further can these devs take it? I mean, we're already starting to see some pretty damn good photorealistic games. So it'll be interesting, and it'll be interesting to see where I want to spend my money in the next 10 years.
G-Man, what do you think? Good talk. Yeah.
What do I think? What do I think?
What do you think?
I'll tell you what.
Let me tell you what I think.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry. What was the topic?
It's all good. We're talking about aliens and stuff like that, and like the pyramids and.
Jesus, I love those movies.
Do you think anal probes are going to become a...
I'm telling you. Man, you ever see that? I love that meme where they got the aliens and this is why we stick things in your ass.
Oh, my goodness. Gotham Guy with the $10 super chat. Great show as always, Salt. The panel's Halo geek rant was awesome. tell Hyena Den that without Halo putting Xbox in the map, there would be no Xbox 360 and Gears franchise for him to enjoy. I guess he's telling you to take that L.
Yeah. For some reason, I think Hyena Den's smart enough to know that.
Oh,
Yeah, man. I remember specifically when I bought my Xbox original. Okay, I went into Best Buy. They had the promo material up for Halo. I didn't even know what it was, but I'm a big sci-fi nerd, and I just saw that and saw the gameplay on the televisions, man, and it got me hooked immediately. So yeah, Halo is just, I think, if Halo didn't happen for Xbox wouldn't be around, right? That's safe to say, right? I mean, that's an easy assumption. I think that if Halo didn't do what it did popularity-wise, I don't think that Xbox would have survived. And that's just my take. What do you guys think?
I mean, it could have been an entirely different IP. Nobody knows anything other than what history actually is, right? So it's kind of a hard call. Like, I know a lot of people that have bought Xboxes for Halo way back in the day. That wasn't me. I got my original with Project Gotham Racing and Jet Set Radio. That was my claim to fame, okay? Those games turned me into an Xbox fan, and then Forza came after a few years down the line. Halo was never a part of the equation. I wasn't even a Gears fan until years ago, like last year, when Gears 4 went into Game Pass, and I said, oh, I missed this during the 360 gen. Let's try it out. And once I tried Gears, I'm like, dude, this is the truth. I tried Halo and the Master Chief Collection, and there's just something about the gameplay that doesn't interest me whatsoever. And it's not just Halo, it's a lot of games like Halo that I just don't understand the appeal personally.
If you take a
and I am a sci-fi fan, so it's not that.
It's not for everybody, but if you polled people, right, and you said, when you think of Xbox, what do you think of, like, game-wise or even character-wise? I mean, they'd say Master Chief and they'd say Halo. 9 times out of 10, that's what they would say. If you talk about the pillar foundation pieces for Nintendo, Mario's there. Mario's been there in the beginning. You talk about PlayStation, you got KhAoS and all this other stuff.
It's Gran Turismo. There is no the right answer than Gran Turismo when it comes to PlayStation. That is literally their biggest IP. Period.
No, you're absolutely right. That is their top selling IP.
It might be KhAoS now,
okay,
sure,
so
but like
Well, yeah, because now
each of these franchises just have these foundation pieces, and like I was saying, like, if you don't have Halo and Master Chief, it's just kind of a hard sell in the beginning because Microsoft's trying to fit their way through these two giants, Nintendo and Sony at the time. They knew they were going to take losses. It's just, I think it was a perfect storm because that's the IP that people attach themselves to, and I think it's easy to forget how big that was for even video games, and the way that it just was pushing forward that genre. The way that game did things, it was never seen before in video games, with the first person shooter, the sci-fi, the scope of the game, everything. Right? So Master Chief, when I think about Xbox, I think Master Chief, you could be like, okay, Gears is there and this and that, but that came 360 wise. So I'm just saying, if Bungie and Halo aren't there with the Xbox original, I think it's a hard sell going forward.
Hey, don't forget Fable. Fable 1. I know
Fable's pretty big.
Yeah.
Other Zinc in the chat has a great point right there. Just read it.
The Master Chief is the only video game character in what?
Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. That's kind of telling right there.
Icon. It's iconic.
No, it absolutely is. One thing that Halo did great that because I was into first-person shooters. I played them on PC. I love the Half-Life. I would say Half-Life series, but fuck you, Valve. I love Half-Life and stuff like that. I remember playing them because I was, big into war shooters and stuff, Medal of Honor, Frontline, and then Rising Sun on the PS2. And it was the controls, dude. In order to move your aiming reticle left and right, you had to use the top two shoulder buttons. But I mean, when I got an Xbox and I played Halo, I was like, it was like my eyes opening for the first time. I was like, you mean do it all. You know what I mean? I was like, this is great. And then second to that, everything in like those Medal of Honor games, when you got in a vehicle, dude, when you got in a vehicle, the level started with you in the vehicle and you never got out
amazing.
of it. I mean, Halo, when the first time they dropped me a Warthog and I got into it and I could get out of it during the level, I was like, this is amazing. Exactly. You know what I mean? It did many things new.
I don't think people haven't realized yet that the reason why I pick on Halo is because it pisses people off. It's the easiest way to piss people off.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, but like that's very true because people defend Halo. Like I said, I don't. It's not that I don't like Halo. It's just like I was never like die-hard fan of it, but I respect what Halo did. Halo interested me way back when I had a PS2 and when the Xbox first came out. I was like, oh, this is cool because I'd never seen it. I was like, but it didn't make me go out and buy it or get an Xbox. But then again, I was a kid and parents' money. But when I got the PS3 and the 360 era, I actually went out and got a 360, and that's when I really got interested in Gears because Gears caught me. But I still watched everyone play Halo 3 because I remember Halo 3 was coming out, and then I played through Reach. Reach was cool because of the fact 4 players split screen. Like, and it was all set before Halo, like Noble Team. I really love Noble Team. Like, that was really cool because, man, Emil, badass.
Reach was great. The only thing is Reach is where the multiplayer began to lose its popularity because of all the
I think that was because of the Spartan abilities. That's why.
All the Spartan abilities,
Shout out to Foreskin, man. Go Leafs, go. Suck it. Suck on it, Boston. Sports. # sports.
Sports ball.
Yeah, that's the Leafs in Boston, the NHL playoffs, the greatest sport in history. Thank you.
But yeah, the fact that he mentioned that it's the only video game character in the Wax Museum is very big. And you got to think about what that Wax Museum is. Yeah, it's some of the most iconic.
I didn't even know that thing existed.
Pop culture. Yeah,
I don't have to think about that Wax Museum. I could forward you all. I was supervisor of that Wax Museum from 2007 to 2010.
Hey, no,
really?
Here's the. I think this is it goes to a bigger discussion, awesome. And we could get into it if we wanted to or not. I just think that the reason why Halo 5 didn't do well with its stories because they didn't have the iconic dude in there. You call it Halo. I know Reach. I know.
I know. That's when they switched to the subtitles. They were trying to get away from that, but also people didn't like it because the fact that they didn't like that story because that was one of the most hated stories because that was directly from one of the books. So let's be honest.
What I'm saying.
I'm just saying
is if you have this iconic character and you say he's going to be in there, right? And then he's not in there for like a majority of the story. It's like hey, we're going to have a Mario game, Super Mario Odyssey, and then I'm playing as Princess Peach for like 90% of the time.
Or a Tomb Raider game without Lara
Tomb Raider game. What's her friend?
Oh, we got
hey, what's
that.
her friend's name? And then the dude, Polynesian dude, Jonah. Right?
Jonah.
Imagine you pick up Tomb Raider, right? And you're playing as Jonah for like 70% of the game. How happy would you be? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would be okay with that because Jonah's cool. Jonah's cool. Right. But let me be.
It's called Shadow.
That dude is a different race.
Dude, he's a different race every game.
We can talk about that too.
In the first game, he was Samoan. And then the second game, he was black.
I noticed that.
Yeah, what the hell are they doing with Jonah?
No, you're absolutely right. Check him out.
I'm not the only one.
What he's calling her little bird in the first one. Hello, little bird, and all that stuff. I was like, dude, this is like Wizard of Oz. That's a horse of another color. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. But like when you first see him, he has the shaved head. He has the traditional Samoan tattoos, all that. And then the next game, he's got a fro and he's black.
I thought I was the only person that noticed that, dude. I was like, is this the same guy? Because he sounds the same, but he looks completely different. I was like,
yeah, because they kept saying Jonah, and yet he's still talking with that
he sounded like
Pacific Islander accent. I'm just like, this doesn't make no sense.
I was like, is it the graphics?
And then he's back to it, and
I was like, is it because I upgraded to a 4K TV? I was like, am I seeing in better resolution? Because this guy doesn't look the same. All right, I mean, I was squinting. I was like, what the hell? But it is what it is.
I'm just gonna I'll just say this much: Master Chief better never become a woman, because god dang, I'm gonna play as Master Chief, not Master Queef. Okay, like you know.
Whoa, like we're there. We got there.
I don't mind girls in gaming. That's not the point. I think it's cool that they have female characters, but I don't like games doing it just because it's a social hip thing to do.
I agree 100%. 300%.
The reason that her name is John, or the reason that his name is John, is because it's actually short for Joanna.
That's my god, you guys are so far. We're drifting way off here. All right, let's
pick another topic.
We're casually maneuvering to the left.
It in,
casually drifting to the left.
Let's bring it back in, okay? So let's talk about this leak for E3, and I finally found the tab. Hey, it was at the end. All right. So this is on Reddit, and take it with a hashtag grain of salt. It's supposedly the whole schedule for Xbox, okay, which is bullshit, but we'll see. We'll go through it real quick. I want to ask you guys. All right, so imagine, a couple months into the future, if Xbox comes out and they don't announce a new IP, are you done with Xbox? Are you selling your Xbox? You putting it up immediately on OfferUp or Craigslist, and you're just not a fan anymore? That's just a quick question to you guys. If by chance they somehow come out and they say, hey, we're coming out with new consoles, and they show just the shit that we already heard about, like Halo Infinite, and they show some more Gears play and blah blah blah, we see some new stuff but no new IPs, is that RIP for you guys? Real quick, let's start off with G-Man.
Is that RIP?
Absolutely not, because I know they're coming. I mean, they're not stupid. I think. They are coming. They are going to make new IPs. They have to. I mean, you know what I mean?
It's been years,
No, I know. It's been 2015 was the last time they announced a new IP. You know what I mean? So, I think it's really, I'll put it to you this way. Last year's E3, when what's his name? When Phil Spencer was reading off all the studios, he said, after Playground Games, he said also, because he read it's a Playground Games, who has Forza Horizon 4 coming this year, and they have another team working on something else, but we'll talk more about that later on down the road. Dude, it's a new IP announcement guaranteed. Playground 2's Fable, we all know what it is, or a version of Fable. Did anybody see those photos somebody put up on Twitter? One of them looked like it's in space.
Wait, Fable in space?
You know what I mean?
What are we talking about here?
I kid you not. Somebody put 4 stills up of like what is that called?
Photoshop job to me or something.
Look,
well, you know what is that?
That they're talking about that they're actually working on that other project, which is Project Berserk, which I said when I saw. Well, from Project Berserk, which is supposedly what actually Playgrounds is working on, it is an RPG, but it's not Fable. And this was actually stuff that was taken from one of the lead. The lead art director's page that he was posting up stuff from that project, and this is actually looking like stuff from the Berserk anime. And there's been talks that Bandai has been working on something with Xbox, with Microsoft. So there's belief that Project Berserk is actually going to be an exclusive anime game with Bandai in collaboration, because everything I have on that is actually looks exactly like that.
All right.
That's the rumor that's been going around for a couple months, since probably about October last year.
It has nothing to do with the fact that you like anime too, right?
No. I actually have the pictures of this stuff. I've actually shown it multiple times on other shows.
But all right, what I'm saying, finishing up. So there, you're guaranteed one new IP announced right there. Playground Games beat Team B.
That's all good and well, but we've heard things before. So.
And I think Ninja Theory basically shows, even if it's just a title screen, Ninja Theory announces and shows something.
Let's imagine a world where they don't announce a new IP. What happens to G-Man? You're okay?
G-Man gets angry. G-Man gets angry, and he tweets about it.
G-Man becomes A-Man.
No, of course.
Yeah, he becomes A-Man, Angry Man.
Nice.
You got me laughing. Hats off to you, kid. What do you call it? Seriously, of course I'm still around. I'm going to tweet about it for a few days. I'm going to piss and moan probably on a podcast or something, or call into MNC.
Give me what I want. I want an anime exclusive.
Yeah. I am not going to go as if. Imagine?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anime exclusive.
Penny man. No. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh my.
That's definitely not my forte. But my point is, look, I am not going to go off for the next month and a half bitching and crying.
Yeah, that's
about
just ridiculous.
Because in all honesty, I'm seeing some people do that, and I called one out, and I just saw he replied to me. It's all good. But it's like, look, it's nothing personal. I love everybody in our community. But dude, you're beating the same drum every week. Stop it, and I'm not going to stick with Xbox. I'm still going to buy a PlayStation. Period.
I think when it comes to this E3 business, if they hadn't acquired studios last year, and they're hosting E3 this year, and they didn't show a new IP, even like from second party at least, it would have looked a hell of a lot worse. I think them acquiring these studios, even if they don't show a new IP this year, I think them acquiring these studios will soften the blow to what could have been a worse situation if they hadn't. For people like them acquiring these studios, everybody knows games are going to come regardless. Like, some people have waited 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Some might have to wait 10 years. Like, who knows? Yeah. It depends on what they show, right? For me, I've been tooting the same horn for the last year now, and I am telling people there is going to be 2 games at the C3 that is going to knock everybody out of their seats. And if I am wrong about this, I'm going to chop off my hand with a rusty meat cleaver. Okay, because I'll look like an idiot for saying the same thing every single month over and over again. I'm telling you guys, Ninja Theory is the one to watch out for. And that, in regards to that leak specifically, that leak, quote unquote, right?
If they don't show off some new IP, I might have to circumcise myself with a can opener. God dang.
No, I think he made some good points there. I'm sorry, Noof. That's right. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Well, for the EA3, we know we're going to see Gears. I think that'll be a large part of the show because, they'll just be a few months away from launch. That's going to take up a part of it. Almost guaranteed they're going to show something off related to Minecraft in some which way or form because, that's their go-to product. I think we're going to see a hell of a lot of Game Pass, maybe some cool announcements related to that. I also think there's a possibility we see something else in terms of relationships and something cooking between Xbox and Nintendo, highly likely. There's a lot of things I think could happen. I definitely think we see the fruition of at least one of these studios. I don't know if that'll come in the form of a new IP, but I definitely think we're going to see a little bit of what the hell is going on with. I don't think we'll see anything from the initiative just yet, but I definitely think we see a possibility that obviously Ninja Theory, you never know. You never know how far along maybe Compulsion Games is with the new project. So I definitely think we'll see a few different things, what Playground's been up to, that sort of stuff. I can almost bank on it that we'll see something maybe from Playground, maybe Ninja Theory, because they got to be a little bit further along in some of their projects. I mean, Hellblade's been out for a while, and and they've been playing a few things. So NASCAR in the chat, talking about Rare showing an IP, they're kind of overdue to show something else. So they got to be doing more than just content updates for Sea of Thieves. So this could be one heck of an E3. As a matter of fact, it has to be a great E3 for Xbox because the stage is literally theirs. It is theirs to either succeed or completely blow it. There's a lot of haters out there, so they're waiting for Microsoft to screw up, and they're going to be fine-tune. What do you call it? They're going to be going over their show with a fine comb, as they call it, or whatever the thing, a fine-tooth comb, whatever, waiting for every little slip-up or everything they do. That's the thing, right? The naysayers will talk about everything that Microsoft doesn't show as opposed to everything that they do, and I guess it's vice versa and the other way around, whereas Xbox fans will get excited for what they show and won't worry about the rest. So, I don't think they're ever going to win E3. I never knew it was a competition, but they definitely have to bring it. The stage is theirs to really knock it at the park, and they have to do it not so much for the fate of the Xbox One, but they have to do it for the fate of their platform, for their streaming platforms to come, because they have to bring in new fans, new money. They have to keep their current hardcore people invested, because again, there's a lot of people ready to jump that ship to walk the plank off of Sea of Thieves here if they don't get stuff rolling. So a lot is going to happen at E3, and I think Microsoft knows that.
It's not only the fate of whatever you said, it's the fate of the universe, and
that's it, right? This is it, dude.
Black holes, because we saw pictures of those online. Yeah. So real quick, I'll just go over this quote unquote leak, right? They're talking about Gears 5 gameplay. We kind of knew that. New gameplay of Battletoads, which I could give two shits about, right? I don't even think that's gonna even happen. Ori and the Will-O-Wisp. These are just easy things for them to make up, right? Then they say.
This is stuff that's already been confirmed.
A new
like,
mech
we already know
game
Gear 5's
by
being showed off and
Piranha Bytes. I don't even know who they are.
Piranha Bytes, I believe, is the.
Don't make this shit up, bloody. All right.
No, I know Piranha Bytes, but I'm trying to think.
All right, going. So there's a new studio acquisition, which is just an easy guess. All right, a world premiere of Dino Crisis. Who asked for that shit? All right, who gives a shit about Dino Crisis? Now, you give. Right.
I do. I want a new Dino Crisis. I've been waiting for years for a new Dino Crisis. Please, God damn it, I need a good Dino game. I want a good Dino game. Dino Crisis was the definition of survival horror, right next to Resident Evil, because they gave you two aspects. One was dinosaurs, the other one was zombies, right? And if you put it together, zombie dinosaurs, holy fuck, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't.
How would you know the difference between a dinosaur and a zombie? Because a dinosaur is basically known to have one of the smallest brains of any large animal in the history of our planet. Okay, so how would you know if it was a zombie? Like, what's the difference in its behavior?
The flesh would be falling off, and it would just look cooler. God damn it!
Said, what's the difference in its behavior?
I mean, its behavior. Who needs it? Oh, Piranha Bytes is the ones who did Gothic.
You guys are like trying to bounce weird facts off each other. It's weird.
No, we got a great thing going. I'm the old man.
Like,
he's the young kid, and we just make fun of each other.
50th page of the dictionary, this definition's there. Who gives a shit? No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Shit, I'm gonna go find a dictionary
new Splinter
now.
Cell game, which they've been saying this shit since the dawn of time, right? Playground will tease the new Fable game, which I've come out and said that I don't even think they're working on Fable, right? So you can at me on Twitter about that.
That's what
I would hope. No, I'm with you, Salty. I hope it's not Fable. Yeah, give us something new.
Like I said, I want that Project Berserk. I want that to be real.
Ninja Theory.
Yeah, I want that
Ninja
Berserk
Theory will show their new IP, Bleeding Edge. I don't know what that means. Rare will show a new IP, which is an easy guess, and the next gen consoles will be revealed, followed with the new functions for Xbox Live service. This is a typical leak that you're gonna find around E3, and the closer we get, it's just some of these leaks, quote unquote, from Reddit and everything else, they just make the most obvious shit.
It's all
right for like 90%. 90% of the stuff is just obvious shit, and then they throw in some random guesses, and they're like, "Oh, this is a leak."
Do you guys remember the leak that happened last year for Xbox and E3? Half of that stuff did not even come to fruition. Some of them was just weird. Like, what is it? Scream Ride 2? Yeah. Who asked for that stuff?
No, exactly. Who wanted a Scream Ride 1?
Ride 1. So anyway, we're at the 2-hour mark, man. It's been fun, guys. It's been a real fun time here. If you guys enjoy the gifts, let us know which ones are your favorite. I've been seeing positive feedback from that. I'm gonna be adding some new ones in there, and if you don't like any of them, I mean, you can put it in the comment section, and we'll just rotate them in and out. I think it adds to the show. It's funny. It's entertaining anyway. Some people don't like it, but it's absolutely great. Let's get to our outros. Let's start off with Noof Nukem. Where can people find you, man?
Kaboom, it's Noof leaving the room. We'll keep this short and sweet and very neat. Yes, you guys can find me on this amazing podcast with these amazing panel members. Always good to have G-Man on there. Guy cracks me up, and he knows his shit. He's old school like Noof. And great host as always with Salty. Like I said, great panel. Great chat as well. You guys kept things rolling tonight. And outside of this podcast, you will find me on Tuesday nights with Promily for Gaming After Dark. Yes, we get a little raunchy, but we have a little fun. It is good stuff. Catch you later, guys. Peace out. Have fun. fun. See you
Next
online.
Up, Bloody Knuckles, you got a long list of things going on. Where can people find you, my dude?
Okay, so they can, if they go to linktree.com/Bloody Knuckles, they can find me there. They can find links to all my social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, my Mixer, all that's there. They want to make sure to follow me on all that, as well as they also want to be able to find me every Friday over with GRG over there on KmeGas, here with you guys every Thursday. They want to make sure they're subscribed to my channel for when I do the Smash podcast. Their little stop for geeky goodness and nerdy news, as well as they also want to find me over on the Tick Games Network channel, because I'm an official partner hosting the Otaku Fix, your one-stop shop for all things news, reviews, previews, and of the Japanese subculture. But tomorrow, this is the big thing I want to emphasize to everyone. Tomorrow, guys, tomorrow night at midnight Central Time, so that's going the 12th into the 13th, from 12 to 3 a.m. I will be participating in a charity event over on Mixer.com at the One Up on Cancer. That's the number One Up on Cancer channel, because we are doing a fundraiser, because the organization is dedicated to raising funds for adults who have cancer, because there's plenty out there for children, not many who support adults. And as coming from family who's all suffered from cancer, I want to be a part of it. They asked me to help kick off their Mixer channel. They asked a lot of Mixer streamers. I was glad to be a part of this. So please, guys, I want everyone to go over there and show support for the organization, for me, and everything, because I'm going to be doing that for 3 hours in the middle of the morning. So please come stop by.
Yes, please support that. My mom had breast cancer multiple times. I know lots of people that do have cancer, or known people that have suffered from that. So yeah, go out and support that. It's a good cause. Hyena Den, where can people find you?
Everybody can find me at Twitter at HyenaDenXBL, and YouTube and Xbox Live at Hyena_Den. So awesome. Pretty simple stuff.
G-Man, where can people find you?
Okay, yeah, G-Man 1172 here, folks. I have a channel here on YouTube, G-Man 1172. I'll be doing a new video soon. I had already done one on Sekiro, my initial impressions. My wrap-up will be coming soon. You can always find me at Twitter, on Twitter, I should say, at Soren, S-O-R-E-N 6611. Thank you very much again for having me on, guys.
Amazing.
I love doing this.
I want to give a special thanks to the Super Chats, everybody that is donated there, all the Patreon supporters. We have them up in the top scroll. The members of the channel, the people that are across the world, like indie gamers, staying up to all times of the night, checking this podcast out. You guys are all amazing. Chat was amazing. Keep it, gaming and all that good stuff. Comment in the comment.
And guys,
oh yeah, he made it.
Just remember, bringing the comment back to sense, okay?
Dude, that was good.
That was
I
great.
totally forgot we were gonna try to do a Titan impression, man. That was awesome. Yeah, shout out to Titan. We miss you, dude. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that good stuff. Have a great weekend, and as always, stay salty, my friends.